Everybody talks about how technology is making us miserable. We all feel it. It's in the air we breathe. But it's become clear that nobody totally understands why. We blame the algorithm or social media addiction or fake news, but those are just symptoms. They don't explain the deep structural shift that has happened in our psychology. They don't give a name to the sickness. I'm about to share 4 explanations you've probably never heard before, and I believe that once you hear them, they will change everything about how you see the modern world and your place in it. My name is Sam Carter, and I'm not a psychologist or a sociologist. For years, I just felt this low-grade hum of anxiety, a sense that the world was getting louder, but I was getting lonelier. It felt like I was running a race I hadn't signed up for, and I was losing. It sent me on a journey to understand not just what was happening out there on our screens, but what was changing in here, in my own mind. These 4 sicknesses are what I found. Sickness number 1, the Contrarian Surplus. In the old world, the world of newspapers and broadcast television, attention was scarce. To get it, you had to build institutions, cultivate trust, and generally align with some form of shared reality. You had to be credible. In the new world, the world of infinite feeds and viral content, the rules have flipped. The easiest, most reliable way to get attention is not to be credible, but to be contrarian. To be the one person who says, everything you thought you knew about X is wrong. It's a powerful trick. It works on our psychology. We love to feel like we're in on a secret. But a system that rewards contrarianism above all else has a catastrophic side effect. When everyone is a contrarian, there is no truth. When every expert is debunked by a YouTuber, expertise becomes meaningless. When every idea is met with an equal and opposite cynical take, the very notion of a shared reality starts to dissolve. You read a study that says coffee is good for you, and right below it, an article claiming coffee will kill you. The result isn't enlightenment, it's paralysis. This is the Contrarian Surplus, an environment so flooded with dissent and contradiction that it becomes impossible to believe in anything. It creates a society-wide crisis of belief. We don't know who to trust, what to build, or which direction to move in. And so, in the face of everything seeming wrong, we do nothing at all. But the chaos of our public square is only half the story. The other half is the silent war being waged inside your own skull. This brings us to the twin sicknesses of the mind. Sickness number 2, Dopamine Inequality. This is a term from the journalist Derek Thompson, and it's brilliant. Dopamine, as you probably know, is the neurotransmitter of anticipation and motivation. It's the little jolt that says, hey, this is worth doing. The online world is a fire hose of high-grade, uncut dopamine. Every scroll, every like, every notification is a microdose of novelty, validation, and excitement, algorithmically tailored to be as stimulating as possible. It is a world of zero friction. Then you look up from your phone, and you're faced with the real world. A world of friction. The real world is slow. It's awkward. It requires patience. Meaningful work is often boring. Building a relationship involves petty fights and uncomfortable silences. Learning a skill is 99% frustrating repetition. This is dopamine inequality, the massive yawning gap between the hyper-stimulation of the digital world and the quiet, often difficult reality of the analog one. Our brains, marinating in the first, are losing their taste for the second. We've lost our patience for the very friction that creates meaning. We give up on the book because the movie is faster. We ghost the difficult conversation because a new match is one swipe away. We abandon the hobby because we aren't a master in 3 days. That sinking feeling of disappointment when you put down your phone and look at your own life, that's not a personal failure, that's a symptom. Your brain is simply experiencing withdrawal from a level of stimulation that reality was never designed to compete with. And that leads directly to sickness number 3, cognitive overload. Think of your brain's working memory, the part of your mind you're using right now to process my words, not as a vast hard drive, but as a small workbench. You can only keep a few tools or projects on it at one time. Maybe 4 or 5 for most people, 7 on a good day. Now, think about a typical moment in modern life. You're writing an email, that's one tool on the bench. But your phone buzzes, that's another tool. You have 15 browser tabs open, each one a mental project you haven't finished. That's 15 more tools. You're thinking about what to make for dinner, remembering you need to call your sister back, and have a vague anxiety about a deadline next week. The workbench is full, it's overflowing. When your cognitive load is maxed out, your brain does what any overwhelmed system does. It starts to fail. But it doesn't fail gracefully. A maxed-out brain becomes cranky, it becomes impatient, it becomes selfish because it literally doesn't have the bandwidth to process other people's perspectives. It forgets things, misses details, and seeks the easiest possible path. This is the true source of modern burnout. It's not necessarily about working long hours. It's about spending your entire day with a completely full workbench. This cognitive overload is why you can feel utterly exhausted after a day where you feel like you accomplished nothing. You spent all your energy just juggling the tools with no space left to actually build anything. So we have the external chaos of the contrarian surplus, the internal motivation crisis of dopamine inequality, and the mental exhaustion of cognitive overload. But there's a final piece, a fourth sickness that I believe is the master key to the whole puzzle. For years, this last piece drove me crazy. I knew instinctively that digital interaction was a cheap, unsatisfying replacement for the real thing. I knew that an hour on FaceTime with my mum wasn't the same as sitting in the same room with her. I knew a group chat wasn't a community. It was also incredibly obvious, yet at the same time, completely inexplicable. What was the actual technical difference? I would try to explain it and end up waving my hands. It's about the energy, the vibe. It sounded like mystical nonsense. I felt like I was describing a ghost. And then, a few months ago, I was reading Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation, and I came across one word, and my whole head just exploded. The ghost I'd been chasing for a decade suddenly had a name. The entire problem clicked into place with a terrifying clarity. This is sickness number 4, the asynchronous void. Haidt explains that human beings evolved for millions of years to interact in one way, and one way only, synchronously. Synchronous communication is what we do face-to-face. It's when you and I are in the same place at the same time, caught in a high-bandwidth feedback loop. When I speak, I'm not just sending you words. I am simultaneously receiving a constant, rich stream of data from you. I see the micro-expressions in your eyes, the tiny shift in your posture, the subtle change in your breathing. I hear the tone beneath your words. I feel the shared energy in the room. This synchronous dance is the bedrock of trust, empathy, and intimacy. It's how we truly know another person. Now, consider almost all digital communication. Texting, email, social media comments. It is, by its very nature, asynchronous. Asynchronous means the feedback is delayed. And not just delayed, but thin, edited, and ambiguous. So let's take that feedback loop and I send you a text, a message in a bottle. I have no idea when you'll see it. I have no idea what you're doing when you read it. I have no idea what your face looks like, what tone you're reading it in. You craft a reply. Maybe you type it, delete it, retype it. The spontaneity is gone. The rich, synchronous dance is replaced by a slow, sterile exchange of information packets. This is the void. This is why a world that is more connected than ever before feels lonelier than ever before. We have replaced the rich, nourishing, synchronous interactions that our brains are designed for with a high volume of poor, unsatisfying, asynchronous ones. We are starving for real connection and trying to fill the void with digital junk food. It gives us the illusion of socializing without any of the nutritional value, and it is leaving us deeply, profoundly alone. So there they are, the 4 sicknesses. The Contrarian Surplus, which creates intellectual paralysis. Dopamine Inequality, which makes reality feel dull and uninteresting. Cognitive overload, which leads to constant burnout and irritability. And the Asynchronous Void, which creates a deep and pervasive loneliness. So that's the diagnosis. And it's bleak, I know. But here's the good news. For every sickness, there is a cure. And they are not complicated. They are simple, practical, and you can start today. Here are the 4 cures. 1. To fix the contrarian surplus, you must starve the contrarian. Don't be seduced by the cheap thrill of cynicism. Recognize that the everything is a conspiracy mindset is a trap that breeds paranoia and inaction. Instead of just seeking dissent, actively seek synthesis. Look for the points of agreement. Reward nuance. Build bridges, don't just blow them up. 2. To fix dopamine inequality, you must manage your dopamine. It's that simple. You cannot binge on a diet of digital hyper-stimulation and then expect the quiet beauty of the real world to move you. Take stimulation fasts. Leave your phone in another room for hours at a time. Go for a walk without headphones. Allow yourself to be bored. You have to dampen the digital highs to resensitize your brain to the subtle, meaningful pleasures of analog life. 3. To fix cognitive overload, you must reduce your cognitive load. Stop multitasking. It's a myth. You just switch tasking and you're doing it badly and it's burning you out. Work on one thing at a time. Close your browser tabs. Turn off your notifications. Check your email once a day, not once a minute. The world can wait. Protect your workbench. And 4, to fix the asynchronous void, you must go outside. It's the simplest and most important cure of all. People are more reasonable in person. Connection is richer in person. Put the fucking phone away. Call a friend and meet for coffee. Visit your family. Join a club. Touch some grass. Prioritize synchronous, embodied, face-to-face time with other human beings as if your life depends on it, because it does. For a long time, the dominant story of our time has been one of digital pessimism. A sense that we've built something we can't control, and that it's slowly driving us mad. But once you understand the mechanics of the sicknesses, you realize it's not magic. It's not an unstoppable force. It's a series of systems that can be understood and managed. By starving the contrarian, managing our dopamine, reducing our cognitive load, and prioritizing real synchronous connection, we can fix this. We can reclaim our minds. So, the most contrarian take I can possibly offer you today, in a world drowning in pessimism, is this. Realize that we're all gonna be fine. Now that's a contrarian take, if I've ever heard one. Now that you've heard all four, which of these sicknesses, the contrarian chaos, the dopamine gap, the cognitive burnout, or the async loneliness, resonates most with your own experience? Let me know in the comments below. If this analysis resonated with you, show your support with a like and subscribe for more content that goes beyond the surface. It's the only way to ensure you see the next one. You know how things are. Videos like this, which challenge the status quo, often face headwinds. Save it or share it now, because it might not be here tomorrow.